Right, on the back of those headlines, a very good afternoon if you've just tuned in. We're going to continue to bring you some of those top stories, obviously highlighting what's kept South Africans talking this week. So in the spirit of Nelson Mandela Day, a young Northern Cape businesswoman will be donating personalized hygiene packs, also just sharing a hot meal and some cake with survivors of gender-based violence. Over 70 women will receive hygiene packs and also interact with activists and fellow survivors alike. One of the speakers include a local book author who published a memoir about her experiences with an abusive partner. Reporter Ulrich Hendricks is going to be live for us there in Kimberley with those details. Ulrich, good afternoon. Let's see if we can connect with you, perhaps get an update on that story. Well, we're having some technical difficulties there. Let's see if we can re-establish that connection with Ulrich as we continue. But obviously, we continue to, in the spirit of International Nelson Mandela Day, highlight the plight of, the vulnerable, the marginalized. This and the legacy of Nelson Mandela is a beacon of justice and dignity and unity at large. We often find ourselves reflecting on really what it truly means to carry that torch forward. As we know, this year, we chose to mark Mandela Day legacy a little differently. Not with speeches or ceremonies alone, but it's about engaging in a vibrant conversation with a new generation of leaders, those who live Mandela's values every single day. And they also just help to shape our future with passion, purpose, and positivity. So on that note, I've got a panel in front of me. I've also got Doc joining us virtually. So we're going to continue to highlight what this means for the new generation. Of course, as that baton has been handed over for this chat. Let's bring in Noni Mhlongo. We've got Malefa Bosiu, Tebogombeu, and Dr. Zinzi Mgudla. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, and thank you for joining us here at this hour. Doc, I'm going to start with you. You're virtual. Obviously, looking at the legacy of the late Tata Mandela. Beyond talking, it's about action. It's also about applying ourselves, finding out who we are, and asserting that with clarity and purpose, given the challenges we find ourselves in this democratic juncture. Tell us a little bit more about your initiative, the inspiration as well, as you continue with your work.
Okay, so hi Liesl, it's Nontutsugo Mhlungu, not a doctor yet.
Okay, we're speaking to the future. The future looks bright.
I do receive. No, thank you for having me in studio virtually. Of course, I'm joining you from KZN.
Yeah.
So I'm the founder of People with Purpose Consulting. We're a training and development company. So we do a lot of empowerment and leadership work as well. And then I also do a lot of moderation and MC work. And so, it's obviously always a great initiative. And I like what you said that, we're not just having these big events, but we're having conversations much like the one we're having right now. And I think that really lends itself to Madiba's legacy, that inclusive dialogue, which is exactly what we're doing. And that's a big part of the work that I do as an MC and a moderator, holding spaces for needle shifting conversations to take place. It's not just about talking and leaving with a goosebump moment, but what's going to come out of these conversations that we're having. So that is a big part of the work that I do. And then on the training and the keynote side, which I do a lot of as well, the empowerment and leadership is a big one. There's a quote or an interview I believe I saw recently where Mandela says we need to be honest with ourselves. You cannot begin to make an impact in society if you have not changed yourself. And so that's a big part of the work that I do in my corner, training and developing, really empowering leaders, to lead themselves first before they can make the impact they want to make on society.
Well, thank you. Thank you for those opening remarks. I'm going to bring the rest of our panel into the discussion. We're looking at the role of the youth. Obviously, the future is bright, and thank you to all of you for joining us. But we're seeing the economic realities on the ground, even just into our democratic dispensation, the challenges that continue to pervade. That is the responsibility that we're having to shoulder as the next generation. How would you weigh in on the reality? How you've also, been called to action, and how you're individually serving your capacity to inspire, lead, and take on that baton. Who wants to start?
Okay, I can start.
Okay.
First of all, my name is Zinzi Mgudla. I am from the Eastern Cape, and I am a medical doctor and a DJ. Yes. And like Nelson Mandela, representation matters. He was both political activist as well as a lawyer. So he has given us the opportunities, has given me the opportunity to become both a DJ as well as a doctor. There's also some work I'm also doing. I just opened an educational platform on social media. It's called Quick Health with Zini, where we talk about health topics. It's also for people who are at home who cannot afford to go to hospitals or clinics. And on the music side, also just co-founded this music community called Spirit Ground, where we uplift upcoming artists like myself and other people as well.
I mean, we're also holistic as people, right?
Yes,
So we also have the right to exercise that and not operate in isolation.
Yes.
And Doc, just as we continue, before I bring the rest of our panelists into the conversation, I mean, we're obviously looking at the state of our music industry. We're looking at the plight of artists as well, the regulation, the challenges that also pervade that. But we're also seeing how we are asserting ourselves on the world stage, and the world is looking to us for answers.
Yeah.
But we're not as protected, right? So you've got the scientific background, you've got that framework, but now obviously having to dabble in the realities of what the industry entails, the abuses, but also the strides that have been taken.
Yeah.
What gives you hope? How do you also champion that cause?
I think it's the work and the passion, you know, and yeah.
Is it easy? Let me ask.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's not easy. You just need to go through those challenges and also remind yourself why. And before that, olden days, it was difficult for a young black woman to be in the music industry. But because of Mandela, because of the democracy, we're able to occupy those spaces as women as well.
Yeah, it's about rebirth, it's about resilience. It's also a trip down memory lane, right? It's not also easy to look back and see there's still gaps that pervade. As a mixed visual artist, radio DJs as well. Tell us about the spaces you occupy and how you also assert yourselves given the realities and how you want to change the world in line with my diva's ideals.
Okay, so my name is Tebo Khombeu. I am a visual artist, and I've been doing arts really for the past, I think, 10 years plus now. And the spirit of Mandela, I can say, is that, you know, like you said, passion is a very difficult thing to channel in today's time. But I think out of the passion that we have as me, as the creative, it's what drives me really to wake up each and every day, do the work that I do, and try to inspire the youth. You know, it's a very, very big responsibility to place yourself in the public and try to inspire people. I think it takes a brave young person, because I'm fairly young. We are all young, yeah. And that alone is just, it's a huge responsibility, and not everyone can do that. And for someone who is doing that, you are a champion. Really, you are living the spirit of Mandela on an everyday basis. He was brave. You also have to be brave. And
you're serving. It's not just about you anymore. Yeah. I think that's the main concept as well. I mean, you're part of social commentary. Yeah. Yes. Political, social, economic, right? This is what art does. It also has a way to mirror us and reflect back to us where we're lacking. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit more about how intentional you are about sparking those conversations. What exactly do you particularly hone in? Okay, so I use art, right, as to spark that conversation. Yeah. Particularly in such a way that I always try to. My whole goal was to take art in different places, and hence I'm popularly known for putting art on clothing, on dresses, on suits. I wanted to take art beyond just canvas, just to change the perspective of what art could be and strike conversation within the reality of where people are at, instead of having to go to a gallery and having those discussions. We can have a discussion in any platform, in any way. When you're wearing a Share the Art t-shirt, you are placing yourself, you are in the middle of, you're putting yourself in the middle of starting a conversation
with having that art piece on your t-shirt or on a dress or on a suit. So I think that's how I channel those conversations.
Yeah, it's art meeting activism, right?
Yeah.
And it's in your corner and looking at what you can do. I mean, we're having a national dialogue in our country, but these are ongoing conversations and they're happening all over. So Malefa, I just want to also ask you, I mean, your voice, your bridge, you're part of this democratic project that fosters social cohesion and nation building. And you amplify the most vulnerable. You speak to people in their language. You acknowledge them. You make them feel seen, heard. Just saying, we see you and we matter. Tell us about your role, how intentional you are as well in your space.
So with regards to the work that I do, my name is Malefa.
Yeah.
We see you. And recently I've gone onto a digital platform because I'm part of a gospel channel. It's a digital radio. And we speak to people not just on their faith, but also we recognize some of the struggles that others within the faith don't speak on or don't touch on. And they shy away from some of these conversations. So I use this as a vehicle to say, let us work with purpose. Yes, we hear you. Yesterday we were speaking on this lady. We were speaking to a lady who she has challenges within her business. And she is a young makeup artist. She's 25 years old. And she has started her business as a makeup artist. And she's like, I don't know where I'm going to go from here. So we took her story to say, we can find out where you can go to, some of the expos that you can relate to build up not just your profile as a makeup artist, but also you as a person holistically, because these are aspects that we don't necessarily look at. And a lot of the times, there are things that are ignored. There are things that this month is Mental Health Month, and we were looking at frontline workers on how they need to build up on their mental health and how their faith actually helps them to not just switch off once they get off of work, but how they live with the work that they do. From EMS people to firefighters to hospice workers who see death on a daily basis. So for me, the bridge is the channel so that we get to say, listen, this is how we do, this is what we are going to help you with. Let's hear your story because you matter. You're not alone in what you're doing. Sis Nomsa, she is a retired nurse. She broke down and cried to say, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And I am going to start a public health organization for the up and coming nurses who are the next generation. I'm like, can I be part of it? I would love to help you so that in our healthcare systems, people are heard. They're not just serviced.
Yeah, so about clarity and purpose as well. And I wonder if it's fair to ask how you balance indigenous knowledge systems and language, with religion. In an African context, I mean, this is important to acknowledge, right? So I mean, talk to us a little bit more about that agency or how we unlearn some of those narratives that we obviously had to subscribe to, whether it was imposed, whether it was the constructs that you were socialized in. Yeah.
It's very hard to unlearn some of the learned tendencies from old. But what we do is we sit down and say, what do you know? And we break it down to its most basic form. At the end of the day, it is, number one, about the purpose that you have in your life. Number two, it is about being of service to other people, not just to give them a hand out, but to give them a hand up. Because Mandela did say, listen, people will never forget how you make them feel. So at every chance you get, ensure that you leave them with a good feeling wherever you go. So we're breaking it down to its barest. Whatever faith that is and whatever religious construct you belong to, you break it down to its basics. And those are the things.
Nontutuko, I can see you're nodding there in earnest. So you're obviously agreeing, and there's alignment, right? So this obviously speaks to, again, to the point about clarity and purpose. What gives you hope, though? I mean, we're looking on, in reality, resources are scarce. We're looking at the power dynamics that are also unfolding. We're looking at the gatekeepers. We're also looking at lack of political will or political will. We're looking at timing as well. I mean, it's easy to quantify and speak to all these challenges. But hope is what keeps us propelling forward and taking on that baton.
Yeah, so look, I mean, we all do what we can in our respective corners. You're not going to change the world overnight, but you do what you can with the work that you do. And I love what you just said now around purpose. And so in my space of work, it is all about empowering young people in particular to step into who they really are, to recognize the confident and bold people that they are, and to step into that unapologetically. And so for me, in the training programs that I did, I did one where a lady reached out to me. I think it was a webinar. There were over 300 people on the call. And this lady says, I thank you so much. I have just started a new job. I'm struggling with terrible imposter syndrome, and just being in this webinar, it was around personal branding. And she said, this has helped me and it's boosted my confidence so much. I'm going to step into my role more confidently. And so in the context of the work that when something like that happens, when someone has an aha moment or a snap, I've been holding myself back this much, and realizing that they can step into who they are, that is it for me. And it can only get bigger and brighter from there. And so that's the hope, that's the passion that we hold on to, just being able to make a difference in that one person's life who's able to more confidently and boldly step into who they really are, which, by the way, can be very scary. It takes a lot of courage to show the world who you really are. We are all trying to be these versions of ourselves that we've been taught we're supposed to be, right? We're all socialized to be a certain way. And so when someone recognizes that in themselves, my portion of the work is done. That's the hope that I have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for those sentiments. I need to wrap up, but I want to ask, from each of you, on your journey, you've obviously also garnered some advice and wisdom that you'd like to impart. Is there anything that you would like to tell our viewers out there? We're looking at capacity building, taking risks, failing boldly, and then continuing again as well, right? Doc, you want to start, and then we can go to Tebogo and Malefa.
Yeah, I'd like to also agree with her. We need to be a generation that runs our own businesses and not wait for the government to create job opportunities for us. And if you want to do something, just start. Just start.
Okay. Sounds like a famous tagline of a brand there we will not mention. Tebogo, do you want to also echo after Dr. Ngutla?
She's absolutely right. That's where it starts, guys. Like in anything you do, you just have to start. Life is all about taking risk, and if you're sitting, you don't take the risk, nothing will actually change. So my word to the youth is take the risk. Unlike not taking the risk, you'll never know where you end. Failing is success. That's my key thing. Every morning I tell myself, failing is success. I'm taking the risk of opening up my own shop at East Rand Mall, and that is a risk, but listen, we're taking it.
Okay, so the conversation continues with you through your art, and we're looking forward to that apparel as well. But Malefa, you've got the last say now. Yes. Snowflake becomes an avalanche because it continues to fall and gain momentum. Absolutely. What are your parting shots?
Well, I would say be authentically you and true to yourself, because if you don't, then you're going to have problems down the line, because you will not even recognize who you're not if you don't start with who you are. That's what I can say.
Sure. Well, the future's bright. In studio this morning, our panelists just weighing in on, of course, the pockets of excellence that they found in terms of occupying their lane, how they're also giving back. It's about serving beyond themselves and making a difference, taking that baton that's been handed over by our former president, Nelson Mandela, as the work continues.